If your ink's too slow and your nib won't flow, here's one of the places that you can go. Larry is here to see you through with Mr. Announcer and Cubby too. It's Larry's Fountain Pen Reviews.
Hello, Mike. How are you, sir?
Hi, Larry. How are you doing? I'm doing
good. Well, folks, this is Green from Custom Pens, and he's going to talk to us about his journey making the pens and the new pens that he's made and all the shows he's been to. And then at the very last, I think the big bomb that's going to be dropped, which I really, really love, was on the nib that has the Hornet. I call it bee, but it's a Hornet bee that's on it. And so, I have the cap made of the Hornet, and I have a couple of T-shirts made of the Hornet, but I got ill, so I couldn't finish them, but I'm going to have some black ones and other color ones as well. So now real quick, Mike makes pens, sells pens, hopefully. I'm kidding. And you can find him at Mike's Pen Fun, correct?
Mike'sPenFun.com. Yes.
Right. So here we go with Mike. First question is, tell us about the journey you've been on.
Well, let's see. I mean, I've been making pens now for almost 3 years, 2.5 years, shall we say. And I have been making pens for a while. I've been started out with, I've been using pens, have fountain pens I like to use. A friend of mine introduced me to the idea of making pens, and I found out about that, and I went off and investigated that. Thought that would be kind of fun to do. So for about 2.5 years now, I've been making pens, really having a good time with it, and started to sell the pens, started taking them to shows. This year I've branched out a bit more. I've gotten to a couple more shows. So basically making pens that I would like to use, and making custom pens. People decide they would like a particular kind of pen, so I will make pens with whatever style they like.
And it looks like pens are selling very well now. Remember when we first started and getting them going, and it progressed, from this stage to this stage to this stage, and it progressed very well for you. You're starting to let people know that you make quality pens, not quantity, because quality is where it comes from, and that's what you put your heart in.
Right. Yeah. Each of these pens is made, one at a time by hand. I pick quality materials to start with. I use all the nibs I make. All the nibs I use are all tuned by Kirk Spear of Pen Realm, so I know that they're going to write really well. That was one of the things I like about pens, is you get a pen and you open it up and try it, and it works really well. I like everybody. I've bought pens in the past where it functional. It did right, but it needed some little smoothing up from like a Nibmeister to behave itself. And I didn't want my pens to be that way, so I have all of the nibs tuned. So
yeah,
I'm pretty happy with how they come out.
With Ken Spear. So, all right. So
I think you always say that the nib is the soul of the pen. Don't you?
It is.
Okay. And so, regardless of, whether it's a, little $20, starter pen or $5 starter pen or a, $10,000 collectible pen or whatever, the nib, when the nib touches the paper, that's where everything is. It doesn't matter, the outside makes it look really nice, admittedly, but that nib and the way it interacts with the paper and the ink is what makes the pen. Without that being right, the pen is not as subpar, no matter how expensive it was.
So again, give the name of the person that's doing the nibs for you, and how can they contact him if they need a pen repair.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm now a veteran of. I've actually made it to my third Chicago Pen Show. But 2 years ago, in 2021, I went to my first pen show ever, the Chicago Pen Show, and met a fellow by the name of Kirk Spear. He has a company called Pen Realm, and you can find him at penrealm.com. And I started by having him grind me some new nibs on some of my pens that I owned, and talked to him about it, and found that he could tune nibs, like for people like me, where I can send him my nibs and he can tune them for me. So now that's what I've done. After I met him, I realized that was the best way to go for me. I don't know how to tune nibs. I've taken some classes, but I still wouldn't consider myself very good at it. And so I have him tune all of them. So when you buy a nib from me, let me see if I can get the nib out here, right? That nib is tuned by Kirk. So I know when you get that nib from me, it's going to write well.
I've never had any problems with the nibs at all. I've been totally satisfied. I have yet to call and complain or send one back, because Kirk's right on it. He does a great job. So
right. Out of the box, you buy standard nibs, and some of them aren't as good as others. I mean, regardless of the brand you buy, I use Yovo and Bach. I use good nibs, but no matter what, some percentage of them are really not that great. Maybe they're a little too scratchy. Maybe the tines are out of line, in some minor way. But they function, but they are just not as nice as they should be. And so it's worth having them looked at. And so I save you the trouble of that. I basically have all of the nibs tuned, and so you don't have to. If you're looking for just basic, when you get them, they're going to go.
So another thing is, you're working for the next show, which is going to be is that the Dallas show or what show?
Yeah, the next show I'm going to be attending is the Dallas show. That'll be at the end of September or the beginning of October. It's right at that last part of the month.
Right.
And so that'll be in Dallas. So that's why I'm really looking forward to it. It's the last show I go to during the calendar year. I start with the Chicago, I then do the St. Louis, and then this year I've added the new Pacific Northwest show. And that was the one I just went to. That was at the beginning, or the second weekend in July, the weekend after the 4th of July weekend, if you will. And it was a great show. It was their very first time to put on this show, new organizers, new everything, and it was a great show. I had a really good time.
So how many pens do you usually take to a pen show? Does it vary or what?
Well, I usually take everything I have, so. It does vary.
50, 100?
Well, yeah, usually somewhere approaching 100 is what I usually have around. Right now I don't have that many because I've sold a few. So
right.
But I have a little bit of time now to restock before Dallas. So I'll have a whole new set of pens ready to go. I have some custom pens that people have ordered, so I've got some of those to make. So I've got a bit of a queue going right now. It's been, as I was looking back at the calendar, it's been something like 2 months since we've talked to each other.
It's been a long time.
Like that. It's been a long time. And I've made a few pens since then, but I've sold almost all of them. Most of the pens I've been making lately have been selling very quickly. So I have a few left of what I've made in the last 2 months, but not very many.
Now, let me explain. A while back, I did talk with Mike because I have all these brainstorms. Not any good, but they're a brainstorm. I don't even have a brain. But anyway, they're a storm. So Mike sits there very patiently, and he's very kind and listens very well. What do you want now? I said, I want a hornet on the nib. And we'll get to that in a minute. Let me tell the story. I already had a cap made with a hornet and t-shirt. Now, I'm going to put more on the site, and that what's Zazzles or what is it?
Zazzles.
Zazzles, and they have some stuff on there now. If you're interested, and I think if you want a different color shirt, you can just because right now it's a green, but you can go to the black and have a design on the black or whatever you want. We're not making any money. We're just going to sell it for cost. So, and they're pretty good. The caps are cool. Everything is pretty good. So that's when I approached Mike about the Hornet. And that's when he approached Fort Kirk. Hornet, huh? Oh, Kirk, I've got 1,000 things to do, and now you guys want a Hornet. But Kirk always comes through, doesn't he?
Oh yeah. Well, he went off and invested in equipment to engrave nibs, and so he's started to engrave nibs. So, we took your design. I took your design to him, and he made me some nibs.
So the thing on that is, what is the charge for that design?
Oh boy, I knew you were going to ask these tough
$30,
questions.
something
I
like
think
that.
it's something. You could go to Kirk's site, of course, and look at what it costs to do all these things. He can do. You can go anywhere from. You can send him a pen, and he can grind a different a nib on it, or he can smooth it, or he can repair it. We won't mention any names, but if you happen to drop your pen and bend it up or do something like that. Names. No, that was me. I did that. I've done. I think hopefully, many people haven't had that experience, but a lot of us have had the experience of dropping a pen. I dropped a brand new pen. I dropped a brand new pen. It went nib first down a gold pen and just bent the nib. It hadn't even had ink in it yet. So that was a sick day. But anyway, sent it off to Kirk. And he fixed it. So he does all those services. He can, of course, put all the different kinds of nib ends on them. He can do what is it? I've lost the names of them. Yeah, italics. He can do architect. That was the one I was looking for. Architect nibs. He can do all. If you go to his site again, you can see he's got a chart and he gives you a chart of what they look like, so you get an idea of how they're going to write. But he does I don't know, a couple dozen different styles, and he's always coming up with new ones on these things. But he can do all the ones that your needle point, all those things. And of course, he could take your nib. If you have a really nice nib that you like, he can also narrow it down. Like if you've got something that's it sounded like a good idea, and I did that once. What was it? It was a Zoom nib. It was a Zoom nib, all right. It turned out to be a little too zoomy for me, and Kirk was able to grind it down to something a little more reasonable. Now, I know people ask, and he'll tell you he can grind them from wider to narrower, but he can't go from narrow to wider. That's one of those physical problems. You can't grind it bigger. When you're grinding, you're taking things away.
Extra fine nib, a medium can't do that.
Yeah, he can't. No, he can't do that. Nobody can do that. I mean, the only way you could do that would be to put a new tip on it. But for grinding, you're always subtracting material. So just you have to be a little realistic.
Yeah, that's
so
what he's telling me.
If you're gonna have him make something for you, and you can talk to him about this too. You want to start with some. If you're gonna start with make a nib. You usually want to buy a broad or something like that, and then he can take the shape down to whatever shape you want, right? But anyway, so
but
he can also
a lot of times you can find Kirk over in Houston. Is it called
Drumgools?
Drumgools. Yeah,
that
is he actually, if you go to his site again, he has a list of where he's going to be. If you're able to make it to a pen show, I think he goes to just about every pen show. But in between the pen shows, I guess he's bored or doesn't want to stay at the house or something. He often takes off for the weekend off to Houston, for example, and he stays and he hangs out at Drumgools. He hangs out at a couple other places, but he ends up in Drumgools a lot as well. So if you happen to be in that area, But so you have a lot of opportunities to reach him, and of course you can always again just send him things too. He'll do things over the mail, as well. And most of the time that's what I do. I usually send them a box of nibs and say, tune and smooth these nibs. These are brand new nibs. Here's some nibs. Tune and smooth them, or I'll buy, or you can just buy them from him. But if you've got a pen that you would like to have something different with, I think I just had one of my pens. Oh, here it is. I went off and got a Parker Vacuumatic. Ooh, vintage, right? And
I got one. Yep.
And it's a beautiful, as you can see, it's a pretty pen.
Yep.
But yeah, the nib was, how can we put this? It was a little disappointing. Okay. And so he can do things like that. He can fix the nibs, and he's a good person to go to, actually, I just realized I'm lying. He didn't do this one. Linda Kennedy did this one. I just saw her last weekend. So, okay, never mind. Kirk didn't do this one. But he's fixed lots of my nibs for me though. And he fixes like I say, all my nibs that I sell with my pens all have been tuned by him. So
well, that's what you call sharing the love. Sharing the love.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Well, there's a lot of he's not the only one that does this, obviously, but he's the one that I gets the vast bulk of my business. And of course, like as we were talking about now, if you want, we can go to these etched ones, right? Are you ready for that?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Well, we'll keep you waiting then. But he can, if you send him a design, I don't quote, the numbers are pretty reasonable. As I recall, setting up the design is something like $30, and then each nib that you etch is like $3. So I mean, we're not talking, his prices are quite reasonable for this. Now you can go to his website. Now I'm just trying to do this from memory, so I may be off by a little bit, but it's something like that. It doesn't cost that much to get nibs etched, and he can do it. He has the equipment.
Can you show us and talk a little bit about the upcoming pens you're planning to make, the design, colors?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, here, tell you what, it's probably easier to visualize. I'll show you some pens I've made recently. How about that?
That's fine.
That might be easier. Okay. I have some here. I actually made a couple of these. These are in a material called Double Meaning by the Pensmiths. And, these kind of fit into my aesthetics. I tend to like pens. I don't always put clips on them, but if you want clips, I can put clips on them. I like them to be flush when they close, because when I carry my pens, I usually carry them in a sleeve. So I like them to just slide into the sleeve, and then they're ready to go. If they have a step at this part of the pen, they don't slide into the sleeve as well. But I mean, I can make them in any style. But this is the way I tend to make a lot like this. This is Double Meaning, and it has this nice nib on it. This is a tuned nib, again by Kirk. So I can't see well enough. I think that's a broad. Looks like it's a broad, but it's a polished steel Yovo nib. All right. So that's one I made recently. Actually, I made one like this, and a fellow named Brad Dowdy bought it. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I made some more, because some of and people have bought a couple of those. I usually don't make more than one of one material, but I made several of those. Here's another one. This is a some people might recognize what this is by just looking at it. I don't think I would, but it was made as a set of 4 pens. And this one, to give you a clue, the other 3 are all sold, but this one's called Hufflepuff. That is, these are the house colors from the Harry Potter series.
All right.
The other 3 sold. Slytherin and Gryffindor, of course, sold instantly, and Ravenclaw sold at the Pacific Northwest show, so it's gone too. But I have a lot of different materials, a lot of different pens. This one's called Scorched. Here is Across the Universe. Let's see, I don't know how well it shows up on the camera.
It shows up good.
Yeah.
Yeah, every once in a while you may freeze up, but you're doing fine.
Okay. Hopefully my network connection is behaving itself. And this one's called Bloody Damascus. It's sort of a Damascus steel look with a little red underneath it.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's one I made this is the custom material. I call it a snow leopard. It's got like
Good name
leopard
for it.
spots,
Yeah,
but
good
with
name.
a silver and white, main color. So it's a snow leopard kind of look. And I also make some bigger ones. Here's most of those are all 15 millimeter pens, but here's one that's I'm sorry, 13 millimeter. These are, and when I say that, I'm talking about the diameter of this part of the pen, the threads right here. This one's a 15 millimeter pen.
Now, real quick, are that the
Sure.
size of the, let's say, the Jinhao 159, the Mont Blanc 149? Is that the same size you're saying?
Yeah, this is in the same realm. I wish I had a Mont Blanc to compare it to. I don't have one here. I have a Jinhao, but it's put away somewhere in a safe spot. So I don't have them here to show you side by side. This one also takes.
I'll see if I have one, Mike.
See if then we can hold them side by side. That's not going to work too well. This one also has a TWSBI swipe converter in it, so it has twice the capacity of a standard converter.
Yeah.
It'll accept standard converters too, but it'll also take a TWSBI swipe. So
the
I
pen
do
is
a lot of
showing
little
you.
games like that.
So, folks, the pen is showing you right now. Hold that up for a minute, Mike. Is
Sure.
the same size to a Mont Blanc 149 or a Jinhao
Same realm.
159. That's same.
Yeah.
You're
Right.
gonna ask you the big pen, the
Right.
girth.
So here's one of the other ones I was just showing you. It's a little smaller.
Uh-huh.
Okay. A little shorter.
Now that's not called a pocket pen, is it?
I would not call these pocket pens, no, unless you've got really deep pockets. You have to. I mean, if you had big enough pockets, I suppose you could carry that in your pocket. But
do you have any
no.
pocket pens?
Actually, I don't think I have any pocket pens. I have made some smaller ones, but they've all sold. So
real quick,
to show you, but I can make smaller pens.
If somebody wants a pocket pen, they can ask you and tell you what they want, and you could do it for them, couldn't you?
Oh yeah, well, I've made smaller pens, custom
pens.
Yeah,
you may well think for Janet.
They're gone.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
I just don't have any around to show you because they're gone.
So again, folks, if you're interested in a pocket pen, a smaller pen that fits in the pocket, all you need to do is get a hold of Mighty Mike and tell him, Mike, I would like a pocket pen. And if you're lucky, he's in a good mood, he'll say, sure. But anyway, so he will make you an extremely nice pocket pen. And I assure you, enjoy it 100%. I have to stand by Mike and Kirk on their work because they do such a job. And I'm not trying to sell Mike or Kirk. I think the work's already in the pudding, how it's made.
Sure.
So you can't go wrong. So again, all you have to do is contact Mike. In fact, if you want a gift, contact Mike. Mike's the go man. What you want? Okay. All right, Mike. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay. And in upcoming pens, I have some. I buy blanks from different people. Again, you were talking about the work of Kirk and the work of me. I buy a lot of materials from people, and so I have a lot of very good starting points for materials.
Look at that.
This is going to be a pen here soon. I've got a whole. These are pens. Actually, these are ones that have already been spoken for that are on their way. I have another one here. This is and those were, by the way. One was by Divine Island. One was by I've lost the name here. Beartooth Woods. That's what it was. This one here was Beartooth Woods. This material here. So I buy materials from a lot of very talented makers. Here's another one that is in the list here to be done. Some people may recognize this one. It's called Primary Manipulation by Jonathan Brooks. And I'm looking forward to see how this one comes out. This is a very popular material. And so I'm lucky enough to have materials made by very talented artists. Let's see, here's another one. This one also is by Jonathan Brooks. It's called Japanese Autumn. This one is going to be a pen soon as well. These are pens that I have more of some of these materials as well. So these particular ones are already spoken for. They will be a pen someday soon. And then I have another one here. Let's see here. Here we go. I have a couple of these. You ready for these?
Yeah. That is called the, you go ahead and share it with them. That's the new one, latest. That's the latest, hottest on the market.
Well, this is one that's going to be on the market very soon.
Yes.
My plans are to make several pens out of this one. This one's called Murder Hornet. And,
yes.
It's by the Pensmiths, and they're the ones that make this one.
Now,
very cool material.
Real quick, I've already ordered one, so when he has time, he'll make it with the gold 14K nib. So eat your heart out. I can't wait to get the beach striking, baby.
These will be, you know, if I wasn't online right now, right this moment, behind me there, that lathe there, these would be spinning on there right now. These will be starting up, probably not later tonight, but maybe I might start working on them. These will start moving toward a pen momentarily. So probably by, you know, in a day or two, maybe over the weekend. Depends on what kind of things.
That's good.
Sometimes my life interferes with fun, but, you know, but I have a day job and all that. But these will become a pen very soon. And
be careful with that pig. That hornet might sting you.
Yeah, they're called Murder Hornet. You know, that's that great big yellow and black hornet that I think they have out on the West Coast.
Murder
It's
hornet.
a great big hornet. I think it's an invasive species or something like that, but I wouldn't want to try to mess with one of them. They look pretty mean.
Their head is. Yeah.
They don't call them murder hornets for nothing. So.
You're right.
You don't have one.
Yep. Cat. Remember?
No, you don't have a murder hornet cat.
No.
Oh no, you don't. But you'll have
the murder on it, right?
If you guys stay tuned here in the near future, Larry will have a murder hornet pen to show you. It'll be on its way to you. Like I say, I'll be sending it to you. You're getting the first one. It'll be on its way probably by the beginning of next week.
And then, you know, when I review the pen, I am going to have a director himself with me. How you like that, Mr. Mike?
All right. That sounds good.
Yeah, don't get all bushy there.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, I have a cap with a hornet on it. Isn't that right, Mr. Announcer? But not murder, right? Murder hornet?
Correct.
No, you have your logo. You have a logo with a hornet.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. So
you
now
have a hat.
Yeah, right. And I have the T-shirts.
I don't have
now delivered on the back of the but it doesn't have the murder hornet, so I'm going to put options that get it murder hornet or just a hornet. One of the two. You know?
Yeah, I suppose you could color them like that or something like that. Yeah,
it'd be pretty much fun. I didn't, you know, what I did was when I did the shirts and caps, when Mr. Announcer did it for me the way I wanted it. I didn't put nothing about Larry's fountain pens or anything, just plain Jane, because some people don't want all that stuff on it. So this is purple. I lied. Yay, where do you see it?
There you go. That looks like a murder hornet.
That is super bad, baby.
There's your hornet.
Super bad.
He's got his
So if you want a t-shirt like this or a cap, go to Zazzles. And how did they get there, Jake, from there?
Look for Larry's fountain pens.
Fountain pen. That is one bad boy. He's ready to zip it. Yeah, he wants you to fill him with ink and go from there. So, what else is going on? All right, so tell us more about, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll be waiting for that pen. And, you know, we've been talking about this, I think for a little while now, and to create it finally. And it takes time to put everything together. Plus, he's, you know, working his day job. Plus, he's going to the pen show. So, bam, finally got it on his
It's coming together. It's coming together now. Yep.
So thank God it's coming together. So, okay, the pens, how many pens are you going to be working on for the pen show? Or do you have pens already made for the pen show?
Well, I have a stock of pens that I have already made for that I'll bring to pen shows. I have plans to make like I said, I have till the Dallas Pen Show for my next appearance. So I have, basically 2 months. So I shouldn't say a lot of time. I'm going to spend that time making pens. I'll make as many as I can before the Dallas Pen Show.
And hopefully you'll have some left to take to Dallas, because usually people will start buying. Bam, bam, bam.
Right. Well, the ones I was just showing you, the blanks I was showing you, are pens that are already committed. The Murder Hornet, you're going to get that one. So that's the next pen I'm going to make, is the Murder Hornet, the Hornet pen. And then these others were all for individuals that they've come to me and said, oh, I like that color or that pen. Make one like that for me. Or here's a new blank I've got. Make one out of that new blank. So if you go to my Instagram, you'll see. Usually I'll show all the blanks as I get them, and it's very often people will go, okay, that one there, I want a pen made out of that. That happens a lot. So I have a few of those to make. Those, of course, won't be going to the Dallas Pen Show. Those will be, as soon as they're finished, they'll be off to their new owner. They're not gonna go around. They're gone. So
That's
you can't
it.
see those. They're gonna be gone. You can't see them. Usually I'll put a picture of them on my Instagram site. But that's going to be it. You're not going to have any chances to actually see them at like the Dallas Pen Show, because they won't get there.
So another big question. Now, we've talked about this many times. I've talked about it many buku times. How much are the pens?
That's a good question. I actually just sold one last weekend, and the gentleman who bought it basically said, I am not charging enough. All right. So I'm ignoring him, though. I'm keeping the prices where they are right now. And so for each of these pens, like these kind of, like what I would say kind of my standard kind of pens, these are $150. Okay. However, some of them are bigger, like these bigger ones, or some that are made with special materials. They usually go up, like maybe this is $170 for this one. It's a bigger, has some more complexity to it. If I put a clip on it, usually it's another $20. However, if you're talking about prices and you care about prices, all you have to say is the magic word,
Larry.
If you say Larry, you get a 15% discount. So,
and they're already a full price. At one time, a long time ago, I think they were like 150 or so plus, but now they're still under $200. That's still a great deal. It's a win. Anyway,
the basic pens are $150. I haven't changed my prices. They were before. And occasionally, like I say, if it's a bigger pen or has more complexity to it, depending, or the material is more expensive, it'll be a more expensive pen. I just kind of, just pass that cost along to you. Some of these pens, like this pen, or actually the one next to it here, this pen here, it's $170, but I actually have a different section for it. This is a number 6 nib. This is a Bach nib. It comes with a number 6 for that price. However, if you really want to go upscale, you can get a number 8 Bach nib in solid gold, like an 18-karat gold, and those nibs by themselves are like $220, $250, depending on exactly where the exchange rates are. I buy them overseas. So somewhere in that area, that's going to be more than double the price of the pen, but then you get an 18-karat, solid gold bigger nib, than the number 6s, if you're so inclined. So my pens can get more expensive, but that's just the cost of the nib. I'm not charging more for the pen itself.
All right, so next Pen Show, Dallas.
Yep, so it's a couple months away.
Remember, Mike Pen Fun, and his phone number to get a hold of him is area code 612-812-1674. And then the mailing, you can email him at mike@mighke.com, or website is mikeSpenfun.com. The core there. So, and they're handcrafted right out, Mr. Announcer, where they're handcrafted back in Minnesota.
In Delano, Minnesota. And also the Instagram is MIGHKE42.
Okay.
You can find me on
So he's all
Instagram as
over the
well.
place. He's
I'm
all
all
over.
over the place. And if you find me one way, you'll find there'll be links to the other places. So you can find me, and all the on my website and on my Instagram, you can see all the pens that I have available, and you can message me and buy them through Instagram or through the website, so you can get access to those right away.
See, he's had a few people telling you need to sell your pens more and more. Mike will, at least not for now, he's going to stay like he is. He's okay with it. He's happy. He's happy making pens. He wants to make people happy when they buy a pen. You know, if you can leave a comment on his pens, how will you like them? That'll put a smile on his face. Eventually, he'll have to go up later because prices don't always remain the same. So
Yeah,
we'll
see.
Right now is a good time to buy. Hopefully he'll never go, but it just depends Mike's mood. No. So anything else, Mike? We're going to drop the bomb. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, folks, now, here we go. We're going to show you the nibs that Mike has had Kirk design, and he's going to take it from here. All right, Mike.
All right, let's see if I can switch this, if I don't run into any technical difficulties. Here, I need to do this. I need to click a button here. All right, everybody get happy. There it is. Look at that, it actually worked. I need to move it this way. Here we go. So here we have 3 nibs that have been etched by Kirk Spear with that Hornet logo on them. So these will, that pen that I'm about to make with the Murder Hornet blank will have one of these nibs. I think it'll have actually the one in the middle. That's the medium one in 14 karat gold. That's a solid gold nib. The one over on the left side of the picture is a stainless steel, a polished stainless steel nib with that same etching on it. But I do believe that the gold ones look really nice. So
yeah, they
are
really
more
look
expensive, of course.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, it depends what you get. I mean,
well, yeah, the solid gold ones are more expensive just because they're gold. You know, it's not you know whatever. But you know, the stainless steel one would write very well as well. In fact, you know, to most people's hands, you can't really tell the difference between the stainless steel and the gold. But I'm in the camp that I do like the gold nibs when I can get them.
Yeah, leave that on there for a minute. Let people see them. Let me get a picture of this.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah. So yeah, they're really nicely done.
I don't know if we can get any closer on them without messing things up. We'll see. Can I get closer and get it to focus?
Right there. Yeah.
Okay,
right there. Right there.
There you go. I don't know how far I can push this camera. There we go. And it's lighting. There you go. There is our little Hornet.
Ready? He's ready to fly. Yes, he is.
He's ready to fly. He's ready to fly and ready to do some writing for you. There we go.
Now, can you imagine? You received a pen from Mike because you're wow, and then you uncap it and you look at the nib, and it's just what you want it. It's either a steel nib or a gold nib.
That's what the pen's going to look like.
That's what it looks like whenever we made, and it's just beautiful with the etch.
Come on, focus. There you go. I can't hear your audio.
Comments below.
There you go.
And don't forget the magic word discount. 15% is Larry. Whoever that guy is, I don't know, but anyway. So all right, Mike, anything else you'd like to add to all this?
I think that's enough. I think we've done enough. Enough damage for one night, huh? Unless you can think of something. I'm going to put my face back on there. Sorry. You've been looking at those. There we go. You've been looking at those nibs too long. I'll get back in the picture.
So, do you like to add?
Nope, I think we got it.
All right. Well, Mike, thank you for coming on the Zoom. It's been a long time. In fact, it's been too long of a time. And my guest when I review the Hornet pen. That's going to be a blast. So everybody, it'll be a closed Zoom. So we can talk more about it unless Mike changes his mind. No, it's me. But anyway, Mike, thank you for coming on, and we'll see you. Take care, right? Tell the wife I said hello. Peace and love, baby.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good to see your smiling face again.
I am here, buddy. Take care.